Hello folks, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. So honored to have you here today. So today we're going to be shedding some light and love and guidance upon your path. So we'll be using the pendulum to ask if you're on the right path. Now, we are checking in with our spirit guides, of course, and getting channeled messages from our guides as normal. But we're really just looking at your intuition and your subconscious and your intuition and giving you some guidance as to where you're going, what you're doing, if there's any kind of way that you could do things a little bit differently. So we're going to do the yes or the no here on the pendulum, and then we will use the oracle and the tarot cards for defining and interesting insights. So yeah, let's just get on and do this and see what comes up. So again, this is really just a reading to support you in every way and to make sure that we support you in your intuition and make sure that you're using your intuition correctly and listening to your heart. So we will be reading your intuition essentially and giving you some guidance to move you forward in a really, really productive way. So this is hopefully going to be a really significant reading. Nothing to get freaked out about. This is not about saying that you're right or wrong or anything like that. This is just about getting you on track, seeing where you are, and seeing if there's any other indicators or any other energy that you could be integrating or infusing into your life to make you just happier and more bouncy and beautiful in your life and attracting all the wealth and the manifestations of beauty that you can possibly handle in this lifetime. So we have 3 piles as usual. The first pile has a badge, or I think you guys call them a pin, and it says girls can tell. This is really pretty. I got given this before. I don't really know where it came from. Then in the middle we have Lord Ganesh, sitting there in the middle. And then we have a turquoise ring that was gifted to me. So yeah, as usual, please take your time. We're just going to take in a deep breath and we're going to ask for our spirit guides to come in. And again, messages of love and light and guidance. That's what we're looking for. Messages that resonate with you at this moment. This is a timeless reading. So whenever you come across this, it will be timeless and hopefully help you to see what you can do better, or just, like I said, infuse some beauty into your path and go get whatever it is and whoever it is that you want. So go ahead and pause the video if you need more time to figure out which pile is resonating with you. And the timestamps will be linked below, so you can go straight to your pile and find out your message as always. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way for now, but we will be back very soon. Okay, pile 1. If you chose the pin, girls can tell, because they can. Then I'm going to put that here. Then this is yours, pile 1. So again, we are looking for guidance of love and light about whether you are on your path and what you can do to enhance your intuition, or any details we can get about whether you're on your path and how you are working with your path in this lifetime. So we're going to use the pendulum. And we're just going to see what it says if you're on your path already. Okay, so it said bad idea. So this is how we're going to do this. It doesn't mean that, you know, your path is a bad idea or you're doing things wrong. But let's just see what this says. So there's a little bit of resistance, a little bit of patience. And again, just to clarify, we are reading your intuition. So this is your version of events, and we're going to get some clarity for you. So there's some resistance and some patience here. And then we have the 6 of staves, and it's reverse. Birth and rebirth. That's wonderful. 7 of wands, 8 of athames, and insecurity. Okay, so the first thing that I'm getting here, let's move these up. I can move this back a little bit so we can have some more room. So the first thing I'm getting here, pile one, let's work with these two for now, is that there has been some self-doubt about, now specifically, I can see that it's not that you don't think that you're on your path. What I'm getting specifically, that you understand what okay, so I think there's a little confusion about the path in itself, but you are not confused about why it is that you're here specifically. I do feel a light worker vibe, definitely sort of an angelic vibe, even fairy vibe. There's a sort of an elemental vibe to you. I do see sort of air energy, but there's earth energy too, very much connected to the earth. I just got this vision of sort of camping, so very much integrated into the earth. So there's no confusion whatsoever about why you're here, and perhaps sort of the end result, as it were. You're very clear about what light workers do and what they're here to do. And I feel as though what's happening here is that there's the specifics of the path that you're on are a little confusing to you. So I feel as though you're working with energy, your own energy, of course, and you're integrating it into the world. And I feel as though you've been working with the essence of ego, particularly, of course, your own ego, but then you're seeing it reflective in the world. And that's something that you've come up against time and time again, shedding the wants of the ego and sort of working backwards from the ego and figuring out how to sort of do this light worker thing, how to make a living, how to be in the world. I feel as though you have a very empathic version of self. I also see that you have, I can see clairvoyance, certainly clairsentience. You're a very powerful person. I feel as though where you're coming from is that the essence of the actual path, like the steps of the path, you can be quite confused about. And I feel as though you keep being told that you just have to have patience and time will tell. And I feel like that can be quite frustrating for you. And then you create this resistance, which I totally understand. I'm not a very patient person myself, but this goes beyond not having patience. This is about putting out energy and integrating it into the world and see how it comes back, and constantly sort of realigning and realigning. And I think for you that can be quite exhausting. So let's get you some actual help here about the steps that you take on your path. As already stated, you know what your path is, but how you physically take steps and how you move forward. I feel as though there's definitely there's an insecurity about being in the world as you are. So it's not like you haven't accepted yourself. I feel as though there's been a vast amount of acceptance on your part, and I feel as though you've been working very diligently and integrating your past in really specific ways. So it's not an insecurity about being in the world. It's just that you have so much to give, and I feel like you're overflowing and you're not necessarily sure of the steps, or you're not sure that the steps that you're taking are moving you forward in any significant ways. So I feel like you have these moments where you feel like you're going to explode with all of this energy. You are definitely in touch with your spirit guides for sure, and you definitely have guides that you work with, and again, you absolutely believe in all of this stuff, but at times you do feel as though you're moving through life sort of blindfolded and not being able to see sort of the gift, or being able to see what it is that you need, being able to see the truth, quote unquote. And things can be very sort of confusing for you. I do feel that this element of definitely otherworldly, and like really not understanding how to integrate into sort of societal values. I feel as though it's not that you desperately want to break the law or anything. Laws, in some ways, you understand why they work for society, but like you genuinely don't fit in with any of it. Like I don't think you really believe much of it. And at the same time, I think you have a very sort of traditional aspect to your personality, which is not necessarily at odds with each other in any way, shape, or form, but the traditionality that you have integrated to aspects of your personality doesn't really help you in the wider world. So I feel as though what you have been doing significantly is that you've been working on your own, sort of in isolation, sort of hermit style, but you've been training yourself. I keep getting this. I don't know if anyone's seen like sort of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's really, really dated. I actually saw it like 10 years after it was really popular. So it's even more dated than when I was into Buffy. But the idea of sort of like training away from society and working with all of the occult stuff, or the sort of hidden knowledge on your own terms. And I feel as though you've been building that up almost like an arsenal. And I think that what's been going on here, so I think we can shed some light, is that you have been working in such a way that it feels as though that you're working against the world. So I think the missing piece of the puzzle for you, and this is what the message that I'm getting for you, so please tell me if this resonates, is that the way in which you're doing things, it's absolutely perfect, but there's an ideology that sort of houses all of your intellect and everything that you've done thus far. And because you feel as though you're not fully integrated into the world, you feel as though you're a little bit of an outsider. I feel that your birth and rebirth, to feel as though you're integrated and completely on your path, because you just feel as though you're stopping and starting and you're not really sure of the path, but you're sure of the end result, and you're sure that why you're here, and you're happy that you're here. But I feel as though a lot of the joy is taken out of what you do and being into the world, because you feel as though you're at odds with the world and not integrated into the world. So, when you're integrating and learning all of your stuff, like I said, your arsenal, you're feeling as though, you're almost sort of pulling it in, all of this knowledge you're pulling in so you can use it just in case somebody comes against you. So I feel as though what we need to do is sort of integrate some of that energy of working sort of against the world and understanding that the universe is working with you at all times. I feel as though there's an energy of like, you do understand that the universe does work with you, but you feel as though the universe works with you at certain times when you can see it integrate into your life and you can see the sort of the end results, and then you start trusting. I feel as though there is a little bit of you that's always ready for a bit of a battle. So every time you're gathering knowledge, you're gathering it so you can rise up almost like a warrior. Now, I do feel as though some of this is from a past life. You were a warrior, and I also feel as though the world from past lives actually did come after you. So the first thing that we're going to tell you, the first message that I'm getting loud and clear, is that you have every right and reason to feel this way. But the reason why you feel as though you're moving forward in the dark sometimes, and that you're on the verge of many different rebirths and births and rebirths, but the main rebirth that you're trying to come into, which you're absolutely about to go into, you're about to step into, sort of like I feel like you've gone from 3D to 5D, but then you keep coming back, going backwards and forwards. And you're not supposed to come back from 5D to help anybody in 3D anymore. You really are supposed to stay in 5D. But I feel like there's just an essence. And again, I love this word echo, because for you, it's not integrated into your personality in any way, shape, or form. And in many ways and in many directions, you have dealt with this, and you're probably very aware of this. So I'm hoping this resonates with you, this message resonates with you, but it's just a little bit of an echo whereby you feel as though you have to protect yourself from the world, you have to protect yourself from society, you have to protect yourself even from the universe at times, even though you understand on a cellular level that the universe actually has your back. So everything that you're learning and all the knowledge that you're gathering, like I said, you're really using it as an arsenal so nobody can hurt you. So I feel as though that block and that echo a little bit is just needs to be redefined, reaffirmed, and completely released. Now, you've released this in many different ways over the years. So it's a final echo of release. So you can go right into that rebirth, and then you can move steadily on your path and feel as though you are exactly where you need to be. I feel as though you've got your end result. Like I said, you really know why you're here. But like, I think you do look around a lot of times and say, you know, is this the way I get there? Is this the way I get there? Am I doing things correctly? I feel as though you doubt yourself all the time. And it's not exactly a doubt. It's more like, am I doing things correctly? It's not really a trusting of yourself. And the reason why you don't trust yourself is because you have impeccable intuition, by the way. There's no reason not to. It's just because that you're moving to that rebirth, and there's a section of you that's put up just a little bit of a wall because it needs to protect yourself from the world. So you're not fully connected. You're not fully integrated in the way that you could be. Now, let's be really specific. Everything that you've learned, and every knowledge that you've given yourself, everything that you've read, everything that you've been through, the way in which you've opened up your heart is ready to be integrated and completely connected to the world. I don't feel there's any sort of work in that realm whatsoever. You've done all of that self-work. All this needs to do right now is to literally pull down that wall, understand that the universe has your back completely and totally. It has never judged you. It never will. And that there's no one to fight anymore. No one's coming after you. There's no reason to be defensive in the world. No one's coming after you. No one's going to criticize you. And if they do, you'll be completely connected to who you are and to source. None of that will matter. You'll understand that the people who criticize you when you go out there, because you are a leader in your community and you're going to go further and do that, then, you know, they're just not getting it. And you're not here, you know, you're here to sort of move forward the people who are getting it and to support them and to be a beacon of light for others. And sometimes that can be annoying because you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired of being the light. And I get it. And you have every right to your feelings, and you have every right to be, I'm done with this already. And I do see you sort of flailing up your hands sometimes and like, I get it, but like, why is my life not shining light in every corner? You know, I feel as though you do take 6 steps forward, 5 steps backwards, 7 steps forwards, you know, 1 step backwards, but you really are on the verge of this absolute rebirth. So what I'm going to do, we've set up the Reiki symbol here, the long distance Reiki symbol, which I always do at the beginning of all sessions here. And I want to send you the power symbol here. This is a Choku Ray. And we're going to send that to you right from the center of my palm here. And we're just going to ground you into your own energy. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take those cords, those vines right into the center of the earth. And we're going to ground you into your own energy. Now, a lot of this is first chakra, like I said. So we're going to clear out all the echoes from past lives of not feeling safe, of feeling as though you need that wall a little bit, that wall of protection, that, you know, all of your knowledge needs to be used as an arsenal. Again, these are echoes. I don't want you to think that this is a lot of work to do. It isn't. You've worked on yourself so much. This is just the echo and the end of it. We're also going to do a Seiheki here. And then the power symbol again, Choku Ray. We're just going to send you some peace and light to your first chakra to pull out those echoes. And then I'm going to send you the hearth symbol here. Real heart healing. And we're also I'm going to pull this down as an arrow right down into your first chakra, so we can just Tell that chakra, your beautiful first chakra, that everything is okay and that there is no reason to worry and there's no reason to think that anybody's coming. You are completely safe. You are completely safe. You will always be safe in the world. Everything's safe. And that's what we're doing. Now, just breathe into that energy. I promise you, your rebirth is coming. I mean, your actual rebirth. You've had many really big ones and small rebirths, but your actual rebirth is coming. And then you'll stay in the 5D. And then your connection and the integration will flawlessly move forward. You are integrated in ways that you don't even realize, I promise you. But it will be flawless as you move in. And then that wall will be broken down. And then you will feel as though you are on that path. And then you will not question any steps that go further as you move forward into your path. Everything else will clear up. So you are on the right path. You are doing the right thing. We are just clearing out some of those echoes from the first chakra. And like I said, these are almost afterthoughts. I don't want you to think that this is a big deal. You've worked on it. You know what you're doing. And if this is resonating with you, Pile 1, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the resistance and the impatience, which I totally understand, by the way, is really just coming from needing to integrate completely into the world. So I will say to you, if you're at the point where you feel as though you've never been less integrated into the world, it's because ironically you are so close to being completely integrated, it's not even funny. And that's what happens sometimes. Just before we move into the hugest rebirth ever, we feel as though we're so disconnected from it. So the dark night of the soul, and what if you are in that stage, and that's why you're here, Pile 1, I need you to know that it's right around the corner. You're doing everything right. Just meditate on that first chakra, clear your senses, and the mantra for you could be anything, but the message that I'm getting is that the universe is backing me up all the way, every day. The universe is backing me up all the way, every day. And I just got that. I don't usually get rhyming stuff unless I'm making up spells or I'm doing other things. But that's something that you could do. You could turn it into a song, get power from it, move it forward. But that is from God's lips to my ears, to my lips to you. That's your mantra. You are on your way. This could happen immediately. This could click right into place. But trust me, you've got this. And the power is right there. You're going to do some very powerful things in this lifetime. Starting yesterday. So Pile 1, very proud of you. All is well. And if any of this resonated with you, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. You are amazing, and I'm very excited for your journey. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, Pile 2, here we go. If you had Lord Ganesh, then this is you. And again, we're looking for love and light guidance messages about your path. Are you on your path? What we can do to help you stay on your path. Any guidance, pretty much, I want to leave it to the messages that we get and see where we are. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to bring it forward here about if you are on your path, or you, and this is your intuition, if you feel as though you are on your path. Okay, so think about it. So I feel as though for this, let's see your signifiers here. You may, so you have joy. Oh. Okay, let me just put the mermaid. Oh, she wants to lie down. It's been a long day. So you have joy. You have beginnings reversed. I'm going to put this over here. Okay, you have extremes reversed. Transformation is reversed. Queen of Pentacles, love this. Page of Wands. And gossip here. So the first thing that I'm getting, Pile 2, and again, we're really looking into your intuition. This is the way that you see things, and we're coming in with some light-filled answers to give you a little bit of guidance. So I feel as though let's see, I feel as though there's, I was going to say, I just keep getting a little bit of confusion from you about your path. So I feel as though the first thing that I'm getting is that, so the first thing that I'm getting very strongly is that you're a beautiful soul and naturally have joy. Now, we all naturally have joy, but a lot of, some of us can block it more than others. I feel as though what's going on here is that you have tremendous empathic abilities, and what you need to work on, I think, for your path to appear clearer, because it is quite clear, and I feel as though you have intense moments of clarity and you feel really great about that, and then I feel as though you go down the road or go on your path, and then it's not very long until you sort of turn around and you're looking, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? So there's a couple different reasons why you're second guessing. So first of all, this is an indicator of how you feel about your path. And again, we're bringing in guidance. I want this to be really, really specific. We're not saying that you're not on the right path. You are on the right path. There's a little bit of ambiguity. But the reason why you have it is because of your empath abilities. They're really, really extreme. Like you're a really, really talented empath, like extremely talented. Now there's different levels of empaths, and I really don't know too much about it, but I know on YouTube, if you're here, I'm presuming that you use YouTube as a resource, or a resource, at least I hope you do, because there's a lot of interesting information out there. But there's different levels of empaths, and you are a very high level of empaths. You can go into a room and pretty much read everybody and everything. I could feel that, if you don't do this already, you could train yourself very easily to be able to pick up an object and sort of feel whoever touch that object or where it came from. You're very, very powerful. Now, what happens when you go into the world, though, is that you're not used to actually shutting down those empathic abilities. So when you go out into the world, you might feel very, very overwhelmed. And this energy, you sort of pull into and integrate into your life, and again onto your past. So there can be a little bit more self-doubt. Now, in the past, and I think that you've worked on this, I can feel that you've worked on it, but in the past, you've actually been very, very, very susceptible to other people's energies, and sometimes in not dangerous ways, but very extreme ways that have got you into situations like you've come back from somebody's house and you've actually been violently ill. I feel as though there is great, great power within you. Now, a lot of people have empathic abilities, and there's pardon my French, but there's a shit ton of empaths out there, but very few of them are as talented as you are. Now, what you are learning how to do very slowly, and in aspects of your life, you're able to do it, or you're able to do it for moments at a time, so you know what this feels like. When you ground your power into the earth and you feel everything that you are without being influenced from the outside, from society, from other people, you understand your power. Now, I don't feel as though you can do that all of the time. And it's just simple things that you need to learn. That's simple exercises that you need to learn and get into your daily practice. Now, I feel as though you yourself have been going, I feel as though you have trained yourself in many ways. And I feel as though you've taken external courses with people that you trust. I do feel as though, excuse me, I do feel as though you also have some sort of soul, spiritual family around you. I don't know how close they are at all times, but somebody who is as powerful as you are as an empath wouldn't be able to do this completely on their own. So I feel as though you have gone out there. You thrive in nature, by the way, in a way that cities really, really, really overwhelm you, especially if you haven't grounded your energy before you do it. I think there might be an aspect of you that saw your empathic abilities as maybe as a weakness because they're so powerful. And let's just say, to be honest and fair, you really didn't know how to handle them. And I think when they first started coming in and about, they might have sort of rushed at you and you just really didn't know what was going on. And I don't think anybody was around you at that time who would have been able to tell you what was going on. So you pulled yourself up from the boots, from the boots, and done this yourself and gone out and realized who you are, what energy you have, and searched out the right people, the right books. You've done this, and you're very independent. You're very able to do this. And again, at times this may have pissed you off or not really integrated with you. When somebody said you would not have been given this power if you could not have handled it, you would at certain times of your life, you would have been like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. I can't handle it. But you do understand that now. You yourself are very powerful, and you have worked very hard to balance yourself. You yourself have very extremes, light and darks, and you have no fear, or you've had a lot of fear, but you've still gone in there and worked a lot of shadow work. So you've done a lot of this work yourself, and you are very aware of your power. I would say at times you might even be sort of deathly afraid of your own power because you can sense it. And again, that's because you're not grounded into your power. The other thing that you've done, and naughty, you have let other people's opinions of you influence your own opinion of yourself. You have done that throughout your life. You have definitely done that. And at times, it's brought you back from the transformations and the new beginnings that you were owed. Now, none of this is a big deal, because really what's happened for you, your path has shifted with the energy that's been in around you. So you've had many different little beginnings going on, same as sort of pile one. And instead of having massive shifts as you go along, you've done it sequentially and then move forward, and that might have been a little bit better for you anyway. So none of this is a big deal. It's not like anyone's held you back from any new beginnings that you could have had. You've just sort of done things a little bit differently. But I feel like with your personality, you've always done things a little bit differently. So none of this is really a big deal. But I feel as though the joy that you inherently have, the connection that you inherently have with nature and with the universe and with the earth itself and Mother Nature and deities. I've been working with the goddess Freya recently, and she just came up, and she's very strong with you too. Hecate also, and Lilith, you have some very, very strong energies around you. They're very powerful goddesses and would not be working with anybody. Well, not be working with anybody, but unless you know what you're doing, it can be very confusing to work with these goddesses or deities. But you actually have this energy around you because you're very, very powerful. So all you need to do is not shut out, and again, and not necessarily protect, but I'm going to use the word shield yourself from the energy of others. And you definitely need to be able to do this in public, so you can sort of go at your life and at your path without second guessing yourself and putting your energy forward. There's also imagining yourself as the roots of a true tree, and then taking those roots right into the ground, and nobody can take your energy. I feel as though you in certain situations, you can be really clear about something, and then 10 people tell you something else, and then you are sort of unsure. And sometimes I think you could have confused this understanding about your personality with the fact that you're quote unquote weak. That's not it at all. The beauty of it is that you have a really open heart, and you take everybody's opinions into consideration. You really don't judge. And if you do, you go back and figure out why it is that you're judging this situation. You really are very responsible for your own energy. In some ways, I would say maybe too responsible. You overthink how you're coming across and how your communication is in the world. You take so many other people's opinions of things that it sort of almost knocks out your own opinion. Now, that's not because you don't have your own opinion. You absolutely have your own opinion. But it's just that you allow other people's energy to sort of bully yours, and then it ungrounds you. And then you're sort of... And then you feel sort of like overrided by everything and everyone, and then overwhelmed by everything and everyone. And this can very much happen in public too. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't like crowds, or, if big cities were draining for you. But again, all of this can be sorted, because the first thing that needs to happen is, I think, and on many levels you've done this, but again, let's do some Reiki. Like with pile one, I always open up every session with, so I always open up with a long distance symbol, as I already said. So that's what we've done. So all of this Reiki is going to be sent to you, no problemo. So don't worry about it. So I think what we need to do is we need to properly ground you into your energy. Now, you've done all those grounding exercises. It's not like you don't know how to do this. And again, you really have gone out of your way to train yourself. You know what you're doing. So I think what we need to do is we need to, so I'm going to do the power symbol here first and send that right to your first chakra here. And let's pull down your roots right into the center of the earth. And we're actually going to have Lilith pull down your roots. A little bit of goddess energy here, a little bit of feminine, but kick ass. Kick arse, like feminine energy. To really pull down your roots. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take Say key right here, and then we're going to do the power symbol here again. Now I'm going to take this energy right here and we're going to pull up your shield. Now I don't want you to think that it's not about protecting, it's just your shield. And we're going to pull that shield up and around you. So the first thing you should be feeling is a little heavier, which is good. That means you're grounded and Lilith is holding right on to you. So don't you worry. And then we're going to pull that shield up. And then I want you to think about your path and how clear it is. And now that path should be feeling really, really clear, because you know who you are and you are not having to pull in anybody else's opinions right now. That does not mean that you're not open. That does not mean that you are not listening to other people. That does not mean that you're just working from the ego. It's quite the opposite. This shield that is around you now, and you should be able to feel it, and again, you should be feeling heavier and grounded, is going to enable you to work within your own energy, reclaim and then claim definitively your own power, and then be able to decipher who says what and what information you take in. Right now, you're taking in everything, and it's too much. It would be too much for anybody. And from this understanding of self, you will be able to work with your empathic abilities in brand new and extremely beautiful and powerful ways, in more powerful ways than you can ever imagine. So we've got the shield around you. I want you to take a couple of deep breaths. And you also have some homework. I want you to go in and figure out how to do this shield all of the time, and figure out how to integrate yourself right into the world with the shield up, and then be very discerning about the energy that you have around you, the opinions that you take in and around yourself. Now, it's okay for people to vent, but if you're not in the mood, or you know your energy can't take it, you tell them not right now. It's all about putting your energy first and learning how to work with your energy and increase your power by grounding into it at all times. Again, see yourself as that tree rooted right into the ground with Lilith at the bottom, holding on right there. You're not going anywhere. And it's not a bad thing for you to be a little bit more discerning sometimes about the energy that you let around you. I feel as though, because you're so open-hearted and you want to be there for everybody, which is absolutely beautiful, but there's an aspect of self that, you don't always have to be there. You can actually send people energy. You don't have to be in and around it sometimes. So please put your energy first and listen to your intuition about what it is that you need at that time. Okay, pile one. I'm sorry. Okay, pile two. There are a few interesting crossovers between pile one and pile two. If you felt like you needed to, if you wanted a little extra information, it may not be a bad thing for you, pile two, to go in and listen to pile one, but it isn't necessary. This message is definitely specifically for you. Now you've got this, a little bit of shielding, and you are going to embrace that power that you have in more beautiful ways than ever. And then you will never doubt your path. You will be able to see your path clearly and know exactly where you are. You will never have any self-doubt again. That is for sure. You're already connected to the universe and your own intuition. Trust me, you're already there. Just a little bit of tweaking and you've got this. So pile two, breathe into your energy. I'm going to continue to send you some Reiki. I sincerely hope that this resonated with you, and just shed a little bit of light on what's going on. Do let me know in the comments if you felt the Reiki and if any of this resonated with you. I love to hear from you. Please take care and visit again. Bye-bye. Okay, pile 3, this is you. So if you picked pile 3 and the turquoise ring that was given to me by a very dear friend years ago, then this is for you. And again, to clarify, we're really talking about your intuition and how you are seeing things. So whether you're on your path, why you don't think you are, or anything to enhance where you are, any kind of guidance that we can give you from our spirit guides today. So we're gonna bring this pendulum down, and then the clarifiers will be our cards here. So let's go ahead and see if you feel as though you are on your path to begin with. And okay, think about it. So this is what happened. This is exactly where pile 2 was. So again, this is not that you don't think that you're on your path, but I feel as though a little bit of guidance. Oh, peace. That's beautiful. So let's just see what we've got. Peace, trust, horse, accepting help from another, and delegating authority. Beautiful. Ah, 2 of Cups. Beautiful here. Okay, Queen of Wands reversed. We have the High Priestess, beautiful, and Victim right in the middle here. So there's a few things that's going on. So there is, I don't want to use the word confusion, but I feel as though there's a little bit of mist. And again, we're sort of reading your intuition. This is how you're seeing things. And then we're going to come in with some clarity and some guidance, some advice for you. So I feel as though you, first of all, very powerful person, and this is something that you know, very involved with the moon here and magic. So I feel as though you understand your own energy and how to use it in the world. And I feel as though you're both of light and dark. I definitely would not mess with you at all, pile 3ers, which is, you know, I definitely wouldn't piss you off, and that's the way it should be. You are extremely powerful, and you have been through a lot in this lifetime, and you have done it on your own. Now, every moment of peace that has been reflected into your life, you have earned, for sure. I feel as though you've had a life of a lot of ups and downs. And again, what I see is not really confusion, but a little bit of mist about your path. I feel as though you are firmly on your path. I feel as though some of you are asking if the path could be increased or if it could go quicker. It's totally understandable that you want to make things go a little bit quicker. I feel as though you have really planted a lot of seeds out there and over many, many different years, and you're waiting for the sort of the big payoff, the little payoff, the big payoff. I feel as though you are a person of action, tremendous action. So if you put out some action into the world and it's not met by the universe, there might be a little bit of self-doubt there, wondering if this is what you want to do. And you might have a little bit of not problem with trust, I would say, but you know, if there isn't immediate validation sometimes from the universe, you're a person of action, very practical in that sense. It's more of like, well, if I'm not getting that kind of validation, maybe I should do it this way. I'd like the validation so I know that I'm on the right path, so I can keep going in that direction. If not, I will happily change directions and do something different. I feel like you have that conversation with the universe. Well, heads up, the universe is saying you gotta trust that the energy that you've put out there takes a little bit of time, and that what you're asking for, your payoff is going to be massive, and that takes a little bit of time. I'm also hearing that whatever it is that you've asked for is nothing compared to what is going to be bestowed upon you. So have patience. So the way in which you work in the world is that you are shifting how you work in the world. You are really understanding And this has been very difficult for you because you are a very, very, very strong person. Like I said, extremely independent. I feel as though for some of you, and again, this is a general reading, but I hope this is resonating for the person that I'm reading for. The archetype of the person that I'm reading for is extremely independent, to the point where they don't really like asking for help. Now, it's not necessarily that you don't think that you deserve it, but you love the idea that you do things on your own. And for the most part, you've always been able to do things on your own. But the universe is sending you the message that people and situations are here in order to help you, and you're not supposed to do things alone. I feel as though if you do ask for help, it's very difficult for you, and then you feel really guilty. They're asking you to take that guilt out of it, and that certain people, certain angels were put onto this earth to actually help you, and there will be a sort of balance of payment. And I don't mean, money. There'll be a balance of payment. They're here for a reason. They're part of your karma. Accept it. You're not the sort of person in any way, by any stretch of the imagination, to, as we say at home, take the piss, or to ask for help and then take it for granted. When you do ask for help, it's absolutely huge. But I feel as though this is something that you've been working on, asking for help much more, which is really important for you, and actually not taking things personally. Now, this is a very long-winded way of going around it, but in the past, you've taken things personally and you've been quite defensive, and that's because you've been your own entity, you've been your own person, and you've literally pulled yourself up from the bootstraps, which is a term that I used in pile 2. But in many ways, you're very different people. But you really have done this. You are a force unto yourself. So, and you see yourself as this sort of like singular lighthouse, a beacon, yes, but really, no matter the weather, nobody can pull you down. And so I feel as though when people react towards you, and a lot of people will react to your power, and quite negatively, you've had that before, you can take it quite personally. You can either be hurt by it or you can be defensive. And I feel like people react to you because of the energy that you have around you. Very often, 9 times out of 10, you don't even need to say anything. And that can be a very difficult way of being in the world. Now, there were times where you saw yourself as a victim, insofar as, and I don't want to use that word here because, you are a sort of a pragmatic person and you put yourself in the middle of these situations. Well, people really are actually treating me like this. People really are reacting to me this way. I am the common denominator in this. So you sort of deduced all of this, and sort of as a byproduct, maybe made yourself a victim. Now, you've done a lot of work on this. And what you've done, and of course, when you've done that, you've given away your power in these situations. And I think that's, that you've come away from those situations by giving into your power, and people have projected upon you. You've maybe gone at them. Now, there are certain times where there's a time to fight. You don't need to let people get away with things. There are certain times when you need to speak up. I'm a big believer in that. And you are too. And your sense of timing is impeccable. Those times. And I feel as though in your life you have stood up in those times and you've said, wait a minute, you need to back down, and this is the reason. And like I said at the beginning of the reading, I would not mess with you. But I feel as though there's been other times where you really didn't need to do that, and it was petty, and you went at them anyway, and then you felt bad about yourself, and then you pulled power out of yourself, and then you were ungrounded into your original power. So there needs to be some forgiveness on that, and within your sort of your source healing. I feel as though you need to forgive yourself for reacting to the world, for reacting to you. And in that way, you can reclaim your power. And not just your power comes from magic. Now, I feel as though, so specifically what we are doing here is that we're talking about your path. Now, I feel as though for you, I keep seeing a lighthouse for you, and like the lights are on, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't, and sometimes like you're shining the light as a lighthouse on a vast ocean, and you can't pick up anything. So I don't feel as though you feel too confused about your path. It's just like you're wondering if there's any more clarifiers that you can get, like gathering a little bit more information. to make sure that you are doing things correctly. And of course, yes, you are doing things correctly. And the main thing that you need to do is to trust. Now, when you trust completely and give into what it is that you've decided to do with your heart and soul, I feel like you do have a very practical, and again, your power and your strength is immense. And I feel like what you do is you decide on something in sort of like the practical realm of your mind. All right, I'm doing this. And then you move forward very practically. You actually, you're action taker, move forward, move forward. But what the universe is asking you to do to connect to your path completely, so you never, ever, ever doubt yourself again, is that if you start choosing and integrating your heart into these matters when you've chosen practically. So when you make a practical decision and then you put your practical action with the practical decision, then pull your heart and emotions and feelings into that, then you will know you're on the right path. And then the other thing I would say to you, which is really important for you because you are very action oriented, is stop comparing yourself to the rest of the world. I think that's where your downfall is, and that's when you start doubting yourself and going, is my path the right one? I will say your power is definitely immense. It's also very original. Now, everybody's unique. Everybody's unique. But the way in which that you do things, your path is completely original. You actually go out of your way to do things differently. It's almost like a sickness with you. You've got to do things differently. So when you're asking for clarifiers from the universe, you're not doing things in the same way that other people are doing things, or climbing the ladder the way that other people are doing things, or moving forward, I should say, in the same way that other people are doing things. We're taking the same path. So why you would want those signifiers in the clarification that others would get, I don't really understand. So what they're saying is you have to trust that your original way that you're moving down that path doesn't need to be constantly reassured. It's okay. And then the other thing is then you'll go down your path in this original way, and then you'll start comparing yourself to the results of the world where people have done things in a more conventional manner. And then you're literally setting yourself up to get confused and go nuts and go round and round and round. And all it does is take away from this inner peace that you already know. So in a practical way, what the universe is saying, go ahead, just keep doing what you're doing because it's amazing. Embrace your uniqueness. Stop looking for the universe, because the universe is working for you, trust me. So you don't need clarifiers from the universe constantly. You don't, the support is there. And then when you have the practical mindset, you have the idea and you're putting it into action, pull in your heart and emotion and keep going at it, and trust and connect to that peace and trust. And then you will not feel this mist that's around you when you're like, am I doing this correctly? You're doing this correctly for you. So yeah, the answer is yes. Then you'll be able to connect to the power and the magic of the high priestess in a way that you've not been able to connect, and keep that magic in your everyday life all of the time, and nobody will be able to take that energy from you. And actually the only person that's taking that energy from you is you. Again, not taking anything personally anymore, not allowing anybody to come in and sort of shift your version of power. Your power is yours, not to be messed with. If people have a problem with your power, you can just walk away. You're not there to not be a threat to them. If you show up to a situation and people automatically see you as a threat because you're very powerful, that is literally their problem. Stop dumbing yourself down to make other people feel better. You're very much in line with, in tune with your power, and you should stay there. Now, we also have the Two of Cups. So we're going to end this on a really beautiful note. You actually have a soul connection or a twin flame connection. I actually did sort of a love reading, a couple of love readings, but twin flame connections came up. So you can go to my website, and I actually have a twin flame blog that you can go and read. I'm actually in a twin flame relationship. That might be a good thing for you because you're about to come in to this energy, or maybe you're in and around it, or the signifiers just before it starts happening. So there is great love for you. And the other thing And this is a fated relationship. Not crazy about the label of twin flame, so let's not go crazy there. But what we're saying is a soul connection, a very intense fated relationship, and fated by you. You've decided to come into this world and meet. So part of the mist around wondering whether your path is if it could come quicker or this, that, and the other, that there is a feeling of not everything is where it should be as yet. So you might be missing an essence of your counterpart. Again, you are very firmly, independently your own person. This is not somebody completing you or anything like that, but this is definitely a counterpart. So that could be a little bit of why there's a little bit of a mist coming in, or a little bit of a doubt as to, am I missing pieces of my path? I know I figure I'm on the right one, but just a little bit of mist there. So what we're going to do, we're going to send some Reiki to your heart. So we've already done at the beginning of each session, as I say at the beginning of each pile when I read them, I have done the long distance symbol for Usui Reiki. Wow, couldn't even say the word. And we are going to do the power symbol first of all. Now I'm going to put that power symbol, we're going to put that energy right into your heart. Now it's very open. Some of you may even be in and around this relationship already, just started. If you have, then this is an indication that this is a yes, this is the right person. Twin flame relationships can be a little bit intense. And like I said, that's why I don't really like focusing on the label, especially at the beginning. But if you are already in and around this relationship and you're wondering if it is that person, you know, the cards are, the message is yes, for sure. We're also going to do Seiheki, and what we're going to do, and I'm going to send that also to your first chakra. So we're going to clear out all of the opinions of you and all the times that you've been projected upon. So what we're going to do is we're putting that Seiheki wonderful energy, first chakra, and then we're going to pull it up all the way through your chakras onto your crown chakra and then let it go. So just breathe a sigh of relief. I feel as though you really have been projected on so much, and it's no wonder that your ego came in as a sign of protection after that. You really have been the sort of person that people have projected upon you. Very powerful. So, and that can be very painful and feel very lonesome at some time. So we're also going to send the heart symbol here, which is Karuna Reiki, and I'm going to do here the power symbol to Choku-rei, and we're going to send that right into your heart, just to remind you of your beauty and your power and standing on your own terms. And that you should, I'm seeing the mist move away and clarity coming in, hope, blessings, groundedness back into your own energy, which is very easy for you. So hopefully you feel that. Take a couple of deep breaths. Remember to drink a lot of water. Okay. All right. So pile 3, a lot of beautiful things coming in for you. Gorgeous, powerful energy there. I'm really excited for this new love coming in if it hasn't already. Well done for being you and working with your power, and hopefully a little of that mist, or maybe a little bit of that uncertainty, has sort of shifted for you, because you were always where you were meant to be, and hopefully that message is loud and clear for you today. So I hope this resonated with you, pile 3. Sending love and light. Please do let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you, especially if you felt the healing of the Reiki. It was an honor to work with you today. Please stop by and see me again if you feel like you need to at any point. I'm always here for you. And until we meet again, take care and bye-bye.